Right, so we've just made our way into the Mulawati, just because it runs kind of well, not quite congruently, but it runs close to where those squirrels were alarm calling. So I was just checking just to see if anything was lurking, and I thought, well, while we're here, might as well just say a little update on the wigs. As you can see, growing well, feathers developing, and starting to look more and more like adult owls by the day. You also can see that they are incredibly hot. There is that Gular flutter taking place on the owl on the left, just trying to get rid of that excess heat. And it's why I think they don't like staying in the nest anymore, is you can see how that sun hits them in the mornings. And I can assure you that it is hot when you're in the sun, especially if you're covered in a whole bunch of thick down feathers. It's not going to be very, very pleasant. Just the thought of wearing a down jacket right now makes me uncomfortable. So I can only imagine how these poor little owls are feeling. And that's why it makes sense for them to be able to have a way of getting rid of excess heat, and so effectively panting like an animal would. You see the little owls looking at a starling that's come down. There's a starling that obviously is seeing little insects or something lurking around the owls and is very interested. There we go. What do you want, starling? Little greater blue-eared. Look at how the wig is just watching it. The one's watching, the other one doesn't seem too perturbed by this. It's quite cool, isn't it? I don't often see birds getting close to birds of prey. I'm normally a bit wary of them, but clearly the starling does not feel threatened by the two baby wigs. Abigail, I think it might just be you. They certainly don't look less grumpy to me, especially now the way it's just death staring this starling as if to say, what are you doing here? You will not come into our nest. So they always have this kind of grumpy face, but it'll start to change because as the adult sort of plumage develops and the way that they kind of, the structure of their face changes slightly and their eyes become a lot more wide and soft. I don't know, softer is probably a better description of them when they get older. Like if you see the adults, yes, they have these beautiful big eyes, but it's always like a soft expression, not like the little ones that sort of have this furrowed brow and almost look as though they should be in an Angry Birds cartoon game. I love how both of them are just watching the starling. It's almost as if they're a little bit nervous of it. Starling seems completely unperturbed by these owls. I don't know what it's grabbing there. It seems to be grabbing stuff off of the grass. I wonder if it's looking for nesting material. There it is, it's grabbing leaves. You know what it might be also looking for, and why it's hanging around, is if it is a nesting bird, is to be looking for little down feathers. They make for I can't speak anymore. They make for great nest liners, not great nest liners. There we go. I'll get it out eventually. So maybe that's what it's trying to kind of find. If it's got a few leaves in its mouth at the moment, it's definitely not a food source. Let's see if it grabs that feather there. I see one feather in amongst all of that it's busy. No. No, it's definitely collecting nesting material. The two wigs are watching it closely though. It's weird though, it's very, very, very fine, very small nesting material. Did I say greater blue-eared, Igor? The starling, did I say greater blue-eared? Or did I say Cape Glossy? No, I think did I say Cape Glossy? It is a Cape Glossy, it's not a greater blue-eared now that I look at it. And then the two owls are moving about. This, everybody's like, I'm not sure what you said. It just shows how much Igor listens to me. I always feel like I'm just talking to myself on this car. Igor doesn't like to chat with me anymore. There's also a little chagra that's going to join in the background too. Is it a chagga? No, it's not. I can't even ID birds today. What is wrong with me? Little southern grey-headed sparrow. It's just getting some nests. Some seeds. And then obviously the two owls that have stood up and are both smiling now. Maybe that's why they don't look so angry today, is because they're Gular Fluttering, and it almost looks like they're having a little smile and laugh. They are quite cute, aren't they? Anyway, I'll sit with them and watch what they get up to for a little bit longer. So cute, these little guys. They're getting a little bit of personality now, and you can see they're quite mobile, so moving about and walking and doing their thing. And now when they stand up straight, it gives you a really nice idea of how big they're actually getting. They're no longer those tiny little fluff balls. They're developing at a rate of knots now, which is cute. It does look like that's Nadine saying. Looks like they're wearing little leg warmers. It's super cute. I'm sure they are not finding those fluffy legs cute at all. They're probably hating the fact that those legs are the way that they are. It's obviously not comfortable when it comes to the sun. I just love how they're both fluttering at the same time. Like I say, it looks like they're having a little laugh. Nadine was also saying they're probably laughing at Igor's shorts, although Igor's shorts are nice today. I like your shorts, Igor. Today I think you did well. No worries, buddy. Yesterday's shorts would definitely be a laugh, but today they're good. They have Saturday vibes to them, which is what we need. The only problem is that they did not deliver on the wild dog promise. So, there's that, which we are judging, but can't have it all. I wonder if they're going to walk again and in the afternoon be somewhere else. I think they're just getting too hot here now. You can see how they've kind of recessed themselves back and into the shade as much as possible, just to try and cope with that body temperature. The one that's looking at us on the right hand side looks super grumpy at the moment. It's got this face like it is not impressed by life. Nadine was saying that she wanted to say they're not as scary as they used to be, but they still are. They still kind of have that furrowed brow and just sort of stare at you. But anyway, we'll probably move on and go and see what else we can find. Well, as you can see, we've made our way to the Wigs. We decided to come check the Mulawati just because of the heat and try and see if anything is lurking. We also checked twin dams, but nothing there. I think everything is so scared of being absolutely obliterated by the sun, and so I think everything has decided to try and just get into shade. So it's going to be probably a quietish start to our afternoon, and then hopefully it'll get busier a bit later. Anyway, my name is Tristan. On camera I've got Igor again. Igor, did you have a nice day today? Lovely day. Yeah, hot. Igor even went and exercised today, which is very well done given the heat. I decided I would save mine for this evening when it's cooler. I'm not going to be out in the hot sun again today. The last week has been almost every day in the middle of the day trying to do stuff, and after a while it becomes a little draining, and certainly you start to feel the effects of heat. Anyway, like I say, we're with the Wigs. There's only just one of the chicks that I can see at the moment, which is not anything to be concerned about. We were here this morning, both were here. I think it's just because of the nature of how the sun hits this and where the shadowed areas are, that it creates certain pockets for each one to sit. So I wouldn't be surprised the other one has walked and is sitting somewhere in a little shady spot on its own. And they'll start to become like this, a little bit more adventurous and move around and do their thing. So it's not, like I say, anything to stress about that there's only the one. I just love how A, they've grown, and B, these little angry faces that they have. And this one is looking particularly angry right now when they give you that sort of stare as if to say, what are you doing here? You're disturbing my afternoon nap. Mandy, you say you're so happy to be with the Wigs. I'm glad to hear that, Mandy. It's always nice to just kind of get an update on them. I know we sit and we spend, we come here regularly, and so it's kind of not much changes that quickly. But actually, when you think about it, if you take just the time that I've been here, the change in these owls has been huge. They've gone from pretty much white, with a few little feathers sticking out, to almost fully formed wing feathers. Their faces are starting to become a lot more adult-like. They're getting their little ears starting to poke up now. And they're just starting to resemble a lot more what an adult owl will look like. Even the size, they're pretty much there now. They're a very, very similar size to what the adult will be, or what they will be as an adult. So I really enjoyed kind of coming and just popping past, and while we don't have to spend all drive with them, because I think that is not necessary, and certainly alleviates pressure off of them, just to come and see them every now and then and kind of see how they're developing and watch them Gular flutter away in the heat is, I think, good for everybody. So hopefully you guys are all enjoying the sort of daily updates. I mean, we don't always get here, and I think that there's a key in that. So I think it's like any animal that's got young or is in a den situation, is to not try and be there every single day. But, when you do go and spend a bit of time, see them sort of slowly growing, and then, allow them also time to themselves and to do their thing. The nice thing with this particular nest, though, is that we're not actually that disruptive, because the path that runs through the Mulawati has always been here. It's not like we're having to off-road. We're not creating a new track to it that things like hyenas and leopard and lion are going to be like, well, why is there something here? Let's go and investigate. This is just a kind of thoroughfare that's been going throughout, even before these owls were nesting here. And so it means that we don't actually put a lot of pressure on it, and passing by and viewing them for a little bit and then carrying on certainly is not going to affect them too much. The one cool thing, though, is that all the chicks that kind of come out of here, wherever they end up, whether it be within the immediate vicinity or hundreds of kilometers away, as they can do, somebody's going to get really great owl viewing, because they're going to grow up with these vehicles kind of coming past, and so they won't be too worried about cars, and they'll kind of sit and pose and do their thing. If you look at the adult owls that we see here, they're also very, very, very chilled. I don't see them either. Igor's also asking me if I see the adults, but I don't see them today. I think it's so hot, wherever they'll be will be in the deepest shade that they can possibly find. It's definitely the hottest day, I think, that I've had since I've been here this stint. I don't know, it's just, the sun just feels venomous today. Ben tells me that there's apparently rain coming, so that would make sense. Often before the rain, it gets really, really, really warm. The good thing, though, is what we have been having the last couple of days is this breeze that picks up in the late afternoon, and it just kind of cools it down, and I can feel there's a nice breeze that's just starting to blow now. So hopefully we'll have a really pleasant afternoon. And I suspect that in terms of the game viewing, it's going to be a bit tricky now, but then it will start to pick up from like 5 o'clock-ish, and still can't see the second one. I don't know where it is. The other day I also came here and I couldn't find both of them. They were both missing. And then eventually we spotted them the following day. So I'm sure it's here somewhere. So I think what we're going to do is probably leave our owl here. We're going to keep bumbling, see what else is lurking around Juma, and hope that things start to get going as it gets cooler. But for now, off to bed.